Hey, mighty pals, it's day 3 of It's All About Email Marketing, and we're here to stop the brain freeze. Number one most requested topic and question from my mighty pals is OMG, I don't know what to write. And so then we don't send emails, or it's too long in between our emails, or okay, stop the excuses because I'm going to give you like at least 10 different evergreen topics and ways to create content for your email that you can use anytime and beat back the brain freeze. So, we're going to talk about these things we can email to our community, and let's also face it, we're creating content and we're trying to do it simpler. We're trying to save time. So we want to repurpose. So these things can be blog posts, they can be videos, which all can be things that we send out as emails and repurpose back and forth. There is really no good legit excuse to have brain freeze. I mean, other than eating ice cream too fast. That's a legit path still to brain freeze. But come on, when you say that you don't have anything that you could possibly write about to your email community, what's the real reason? What's the real reason? What's the real excuse behind that? So its chances are something else. Like you're afraid it's been too long since you emailed your list. Well, we gave a tip in one of the first emails. Blame your cat, blame your dog, blame a paper cut. I don't care what. Just write. Just get back into the habit of sending an email to your people. So there's something else. Is it that you're trying to beat back perfection? Is it you don't have time? Folks, all of those are excuses that you can fix. You can block off time. You can make a schedule. Why do I send Thursday tips? There's nothing magical about Thursday tips in my email. I made it up. I set aside a day that I said I was going to email, and that's the day, which means that I better have an email written by Wednesday night at 11:50 p.m. or I got to get up Thursday morning and write the email and send it to you. But it's better when we can do that. And when I have those moments where I'm staring at the screen going, what am I sending to my mighty pals? I'm going to pull from one of these examples. Here's something else I want you to think about. You have people coming and going into your universe, your community, and yes, hopefully on your email list, your email community. And they have not read the thing that you talked about a year ago or 9 weeks ago, and maybe not even 9 days ago. I'm not sure how short our attention spans really are, but, or here's the thing, they were in your sphere, they were on your list, and they were busy with their own lives, and they were busy with their inboxes, and they skimmed that email. They maybe even skipped that email. It's both surprising and not. When I go in and I check my stats in Active Campaign, and I see that somebody's clicking and it's showing me, it tells me that somebody's clicked an email. Somebody tells me that they opened an email and read it. And the part that's surprising and yet not, because I know better by now, is they're reading an email that was weeks or months old. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm both excited because they're saving all of my emails and disappointed because how much stuff have they missed because they're just now getting around to an email from July or last January or whenever it was. Or it's possible your emails went to the graveyard of the promo folder, in Gmail or something. Or also think about this. That person in your email community that you're talking to is in a different space today. When they get your email, they're a different space mentally, emotionally, financially, growth and journey wise than they were weeks, months, or years ago. They've learned new things. They've discovered new things about themselves. They are in a different spot, which means your email is going to hit them in a completely different way. So, hey, Fran, you're talking about me. If you think I am, then I am. But you did request, along with several other of my mighty pals, have all requested that I talk about things to say and to get past brain freeze. And so let's remember that, we can recycle and reuse topics that we've talked about in the past, and especially if they're evergreen topics. I mean, I could talk about email all the time, and I kind of have. But maybe I'm going to talk about it differently. And somebody may be in a different position on my community to hear me talking about creating free gifts or writing welcome emails than they were weeks or months ago when they had just gotten started with the notion of email. So think about a hobby maybe of yours, if we need this analogy, or a sport or a business skill. And I bet you're not in the same place that you were when you first picked up or practiced that thing. I first picked up golf in 2005, and I got a bit better and a bit more serious over the following years. Eventually, we joined a club and I played for a while. I even played on a team. I even won a trophy. Now, I hardly play anymore, and that's a whole other story. But I have enough muscle memory and those learning and skills that I could still pick up a club and hit and have a mostly enjoyable time. But I'm also out of practice, which means I probably need the same basic refresher tips on swings and putting and sand traps that I did back in 2007. And yet, those are the same tips that I would have probably ignored and go, I know that, when I was sort of in the prime of my playing in 2010 to 2012. If you have information, you have knowledge, a message, or an offer, and it's something evergreen and important, then tell your people again. Send another email. Research says that as we learn things, as we practice things, we have to hear the same things again and again and again. We're going to hear it differently each time. We're going to need to hear it in different formats, which is why it's great to repurpose content and to go from a blog post to an email to a video, a social media post, and back all over again and back into email. So chances are that's your first tip on when you have brain freeze and you don't know what to write. Go back and look at anything you've ever sent or emailed or written again. And is there a way to update that and send it back out? Because I'm betting that you're going to get at some point feedback from a reader, somebody in your community who's going to say something like, "Wow, I've been on your list a while, and it wasn't until today that ABC really clicked for me." And after today, when I give you hopefully somewhere between 10 and 12 things that you could write about, well, then what's your gonna excuse be for not writing the emails? Hint, no excuse. Go write your emails. All right, so let's dive into actual concrete go do the things tips. So let's start at the beginning. Literally, we'll go ABC. So the ABC, I'm going to give you, these are some of the methods and some are actual sort of concrete topics, and you're going to have to dig in around and figure out how does this apply specifically to your niche or industry, whether you're a parenting coach, you're a business coach, you're helping somebody with mindset to develop and be more visible, whether you are working with them spiritually, authors, all the different folks that I have within my community. ABC method. Literally, you're singing the alphabet to yourself, okay? You're going to sit down and you're going to set a timer. So this is not an open-ended thing. Start with 30 minutes on the timer and think about your business and think about your ideal clients. Think about what it is you offer. Now, sing the alphabet song. Start on a piece of paper. Do it in Word. Do it in Trello. I don't care. ABC, all the way to Z. Come up with a topic for every letter. Find something that you could share that fits that letter. It's a blog post that you wrote. It's a blog post that somebody else wrote that's in your niche. It's a reading. It's another expert. It's an affiliate or a partner offer. It's one of your offers. You can stretch the alphabet if you have to. If you followed this method and sat down and went ABC, and maybe it's going to take you 2 different 30-minute stints, depends on how many ideas you get and how fast you go through the alphabet, you'd have enough content to send out 1 email a week for 6 months, especially if you mix in there the things that are content of value and nurture and the content that has offers and a promotion and an announcement and some of the other things we're going to talk about. So start off with your ABCs. And you know what? You may not even like every one of the emails that you come up with, but you come up with other ideas and they're going to spur even more ideas. Next up, 5 by 5. This is when we're going to maybe narrow things down and also explode them at the same time. Think about and write down 5 commonly asked questions that you get. Or what are the 5 questions that you think someone should ask before they hire you? So think now of 5 related sub-questions under your original topic. You're going to dig a little bit deeper. You're going to use the, okay, so what? So, if I started here with 5 tips about writing better emails, well, then one of those ways to write a better email might be headlines. Okay, and then how can I dig deeper on writing headlines? Here's tools to help you check headlines. Here's how to repurpose those headlines into blog posts. You're going to be able to spin that off. And if you're a visual person, get out the Post-it notes. Get out your whiteboard. Do a mind map. Draw it in PowerPoint. Whatever helps you to dig down into 5, find the 5 related subtopics under your one topic. That's awesome. So now, if you do that, you've got, let's see, 5, and each of those has 5. You've got, 25 more emails that you could write, especially if they're answering ideal questions. That's awesome, which is the next one, FAQs, frequently asked questions. Are you keeping a list of commonly asked questions from your audience or from your broader niche? What are the 5 most commonly asked questions of parents of toddlers? What about parents of teenagers? What about stepmoms? What about somebody looking to hire their first VA and where to start outsourcing? What are the 5 most commonly asked questions of an entrepreneur looking to write their first book? There are questions galore. There's so many questions in our niches, in our industry, and you need to be keeping track of them. So I'm going to share my screen for a second, because share screen. Yes, which one? Let's see. Let's go over here. We're inside of Trello. So I have a big Trello board that is my mighty content library. Stuff doesn't move around left to right. It doesn't move around over here. These things stay static. But that's a topic for another training. More specifically, my Mightier Marketing with Trello training. Yes, I have a whole training, multiple trainings about Trello. That's separate. It keeps ideas in one place. For example, I have over here, you can see, hopefully you can see what that says is, that's customer and audience questions. Each card on that list is a separate question. Each one of them could be answered in an email, or a Facebook post, or a Facebook live video, or hey, it's a Facebook live video that gets sent out as a link in an email. I am constantly going and adding questions in here, and you can see I've got some color coding. I think the pink ones means, hey, I answered that question as a live video training just for members of my Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook group. It's called Members Questions. I try to do that at least somewhere between once a month and once a quarter. There's tons of them here. I cannot possibly be stuck for email content if all I ever did, potentially even, was just go and answer your questions. Pretty cool. So where are these questions coming from, and where are your questions most likely coming from? So, hey, yeah, oh, see, love this. Hey, Michelle, I just came from your live video. She's here. Cool, loving this idea. Absolutely. So when folks join my Mighty Marketing Mojo Facebook group, I ask them about what their business, I ask them if their email, so that I can possibly send them a new free gift, and I ask them what's their most pressing marketing headache right now. If you have a group, you can ask a similar question. I copy those questions into a Google Sheet. Now, I could also use various tools for scraping that, but I don't, and then they become things that then get dumped into Trello, or I can then turn them into live videos and blog posts and emails. If somebody replies to one of my emails, if they replied, I have emails in my automated welcome series that ask them to tell me what's their question. I have other emails that are automated that say, hey, what's got you stuck right now? What's your question? How can I help you? If somebody replies to one of that, I'm going to grab that, because chances are here, if somebody has a question, other people have the same question. So answering it broadly in an email, in a blog post, in a video, benefits not just the person who originally asked, but your entire community. If somebody replies to a personal email, a weekly email, I may remove their name and personally identifying information and answer it broadly. Questions that are asked back and forth in my Facebook group, questions that are asked in other people's Facebook groups. Holy moly, is that a great source of content? If my ideal client and audience type is hanging out in somebody else's group and they're asking a question that's in my area, my techie connect the pieces for you area of expertise, I'm going to make note of that. And I'm going to go answer it for my people, and I may answer it back there in their community too, because I'm offering help and value. If it's a question that I've heard from my pals in a mastermind call, in a webinar, somebody else's webinar, somebody else's course even, I'm going to jot that stuff down, save the chat in Zoom, and go put them in the place where you save the frequently asked questions. So, number one task this week, if you do nothing else from the tips I'm giving you, is go start with 30 minutes to brainstorm and write down some questions and collect how you're going to do this. And then you can set aside another 30 minutes to start working on a possible answer. Pull a question anytime you get brain freeze. Now, answering questions delivers tremendous value to your audience, but it's also building credibility. You are educating your people on what you know, what you do, and how you help them. And like I said, chances are lots of other people have the same question. And it's a natural segue from answering a question, telling people, hey, if you've got this same problem, here's how to work with me to fix it, where you offer your book or your workshop, your coaching, or your one-to-one services. It's now the natural way to include those links and offers, which was a video that we did here a week ago. So even if we stop right there, boom, done. You've got lots of ways to get past brain freeze. But we're not done. No, we're not done. So myths, mistakes, and do-overs. And I will remove that screen for a second. So I loved Mythbusters, the TV show. I loved the geeky humor, the bits of science, how they explained things, and how they exploded myths and just exploded anything they could get their hands on. So make a list of 5 myths that you see most often in your niche. The things that make you want to scream, the things that you want your clients to avoid like the plague. I have some posts that were great about, I busted social media myths. I'm not the world's biggest social media expert. There's people in my audiences that are bigger, but oh my God, it bugged the hell out of me when people kept perpetuating and sharing the same myths about social media. Like, oh my God, I can't ever use a tool to schedule. I'm like, no, hold on. There's research on that. No. So I loved busting myths. And Fran agrees with me. Mythbusters was the best. It was a cool show. So chances are there are things that is common knowledge that shouldn't be common knowledge, or it's wrong, or it's gotten twisted somehow. Like maybe people are believing the wrong myths about keto eating, or they're believing the wrong myths about toddlers and bedtimes, or they're believing the wrong myths about public speaking and confidence. There are myths in your niche. Bust them. Related to that, write down 5 common mistakes that you could talk about that you're seeing people and you want them to help avoid them. These are great things that can possibly be blog posts that then you pull snippets from and they become, oh, hey, look at that. 5 social media posts, 5 videos, 5 emails even, where you send out the links, or 1 email. You do you. It could be 5 common mistakes with toddlers, 5 mistakes in avoiding sugar, 5 mistakes in rekindling romance, 5 mistakes in social media posting, 5 mistakes in writing headlines. I mean, we could go on right now, right? So drop your own comments, drop your own mistakes that you're seeing people make. And related to this is the do-over, or I've seen somebody call it the teardown. You critique, and this is great when you start this as a blog post and then carry it to email. Critique a product, a course, a book, a post, a video in your niche, and you're like, yeah, no, I do this differently. This is maybe a mistake I think they're making. This is a myth that I think they're perpetuating. And you may or may not want to actually link to the video if you think it's truly a bad thing that they're doing. But you're like, hey, here's how we're going to do this differently. The Fran way, the Michelle way, the Val, the Tisha, the Claudette way. This is how we're going to do it differently. How would you remodel and do that advice over? So there's another one. Reviews. When was the last time you did a review of a product, a book, a course, a workshop, even another coach? So this is great again, and I know I'm telling you this is content creation, that is not just emails. You're going to have enough content to write on your blog forever. Great place for a blog post, because then you can put all the affiliate links in here and you can give detailed examples and the pros and the cons of what you got out of X thing and why you're recommending it or why you're not recommending it. And then use the snippets in your email. And you're like, hey, I got to let you know what's going on. Like, hey, this is the best sale since sliced bread. This is the best tool. I mean, it was a miniature testimonial of this in the email that I sent out today, where I said, oh my God, I had a Facebook tech glitch yesterday, and my live video with Michelle didn't go to everywhere we wanted it to go. But because I was using StreamYard, StreamYard saved the broadcast right side in StreamYard. And StreamYard has a cool tool that lets me re-stream. And I told it, hi, go send it to Facebook at 3 p.m. Boom, Facebook now goes live with Michelle and I an hour after we went live the first time and got it sent back out to the right place. That was pretty cool. So yes, I used my affiliate link in the email for that. And I was telling you one of the reasons why I love this product. You could have a miniature review within the context of your email. This goes along with the last video from last week about how to naturally, easily make offers in your email. You're helping your audience make good choices, and they're going to thank you for helping them make solid buying decisions, and that cuts down on decision fatigue. So if you often get personal requests about things to review, then, keep a list of that in Trello or someplace else as a spreadsheet, because you could really make those answers public instead of just one-to-one. Blog post, social media, email. Perfect content and fodder. So news and niche information. Curate for your emails. Curate some content once in a while. Don't have to dream something up. That's where Thursday Tips got its start. Years ago, I wrote an email newsletter, and I have to admit, this is one feature that I liked about Aweber, is they had a little curate tool. I'm like, just drop in the news articles, bing, bang, boom, and it put together a little newsletter for me. I send tips out. In Thursday Tips started off, it's like, here's tools, tech, or something to read. And I'd share a link to something that I'd found on Planoly, on Social Media Examiner. I shared something about Instagram. I shared something about email, about blogging. I'd curate news in my sphere, in my universe, and share it with folks. It was a blog post. And most importantly, I included a little bit of things like why I think you should read this, and maybe here's a cool tip that I got from the news thing. Now, if we want to take this a step further, smarter content curation from my pal Kelly McCausey would teach us that we curate that content to our websites as a blog post with a picture, an image that we've created, and now you share that in social media and in your email because you're driving traffic back to your own site. I want you to do what's easy. Go send emails. Continue the consistent conversation with your community. So that means dropping a link to another site or another blog in an email from time to time. Then just freaking go do it. How to educational and tips. Perfect for a series of emails over time. You could link to blog posts. You could do a series of emails. If I'm going to talk about, in fact, I should probably do that like this. If I'm going to do a series about what to write in your emails, that's just it. There's so many things I could share and send with you that either it all needs to be a blog post or it needs to be a series of emails. I will send you multiple emails over time, sequentially, all in the same topic. You could do a topic for the month with a how-to and an educational tip, and don't forget the call to action for them to do something. Like, here's the freebie. Maybe you give them another goodie, give them a webinar that's related to that. Hold on tight for that because I have an announcement on a webinar that's coming up in October. So you could even do this, the educational how-to tips, with the 5x5 method. Think of one educational topic or one topic you want to educate on for your niche. Dr. Renee Cohn-Jones is in my brain right now. She's a parenting coach. So, maybe she's got toddler time, and parents of toddlers is this educational and how to, and she's going to think of 5 different series of emails that she can create: bedtime, bath time, story time, dinner time, don't bash your sibling over the head time. So the better part of educational tips and emails is to keep it short and sweet and share one actionable tip, like, hint, Thursday tips, or make it Tuesday tips, or whatever. So yes, so far I have at least 9 more emails that I could send you, Fran. I love how well you're paying attention, and yes, this is absolutely something that I should go do too. So here's another one that came up in the discussion that we had in a prior call. Goodies! Send more goodies! This is a great one when you're trying to get back in the good graces if you've kind of ghosted your community for a little while. Send them the email equivalent of brownies or gluten-free cookies. Send them an extra freebie. Send them a checklist, a worksheet, a template, a planner. Just gift your list with something that's a bonus to download. Tell them in the email how they're going to use it. You could do a Facebook video that then shows them how to use it. But come on, who doesn't love opening up an email and finding a random surprise, no strings attached gift? It's like Christmas in July. This is not like the strategy I'm seeing from some other people. And you could do this, but there's the one where they're like, hey, here's another goodie. Go get this. And you wind up on a landing page where you're like, I'm entering my email again. Why are they having you do that? Because they want to add a tag to further target and segment you to go, oh, this person is interested in planners about journaling. Cool, send them those things. So you can do that, but the super, super simple way is just send them something. Just send your list a bonus out of the blue goodie. Do not forget to send your list coupons, discounts, and sales. Everybody loves a deal. Offer a surprise flash sale. I did that in the last week. I offered a flash sale on my content repurposing workshop. You could offer a discount or a coupon code to something that you are an affiliate or a partner for. You can even ask them for a special discount or coupon code. So we've got announcements. No, literally, I have one, but this is a category. This is a type of evergreen topic. And I don't just mean, I'm launching something, please come buy this, buy this, buy this. It could be you're attending an event. Do you remember events? The things we used to go to and see people live? Maybe you're going to an event. You want to tell everybody that you're going to do it because maybe you can meet up. If I'm going to go to an event and it's going to be in Pittsburgh, well, I'm going to tell people on my list because I know people that are there. If I'm going to go to Denver, I'm going to tell people I'm going. Plus, they want to know what cool things that you're doing. They're like, oh, that sounds good. If you're changing your prices or your services, tell everyone. You have a new webinar, a new workshop, a new course, a new one-to-one offer. Well, then yes, you're going to make an announcement. But this is beyond like the launch series of campaign emails. This is you're announcing that you're doing this thing. And you want to tell people before you've done the thing and launched it. Build anticipation. I was on a call with somebody this morning And we were talking about her book project and the research that she's doing and why she's using email and social media as what's called an author platform to build anticipation for the thing she's going to write, because then people are going to want to buy it. They feel like they're part of the process and the journey. So, speaking of which, so this is where I go back and I find the banner that says, ah, and where I go over and I'm going to share my screen again. And I'm going to say, if it's time for you to stop procrastinating on writing the most important, most read emails you will ever send, that's your welcome series. And it is time for you to stop procrastinating on getting it done or making them better. Stop wondering about how many emails you, quote, should have or what's supposed to go in them, because I want to teach you and I want to show you. And it's time to find your email welcome series mojo. Let's write emails that welcome, that nurture, and convert. So what you're seeing right now is the landing page for a webinar, October 5th at 2 p.m. I was thinking about this morning. It's probably going to go a little bit longer than 60 minutes because I want to make sure we have time for Q&A and possibly demos and hot seats and all of that good stuff. So we're going to go through the best practices. Yes, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you. We're going to do this together. And I can't drop the link into my group, but it's going to be, let's see, we're going to say, check out more. See if I can spell right. More and register today to write better welcome emails. This would be great if I actually had this done ahead of time, but I don't. And where I'm now dropping in the link into the chat, I'll drop it in the group later. This is hopefully sending it to the page. Because one of the things that I see from my solopreneur pals is either they have too many emails, they just keep sending and nurture, and we never get to telling them what we do and offers, or they don't have enough. They're like, here's the webinar date, and I walk away, which is right now, I don't have but one in the welcome and nurture series for the webinar. Give me a couple days, I promise. But I also know that you need more help than just this to get to the plan and have the emails actually written. So, and here I'm just going to scroll down so you can see what we're going to do on the webinar. So during the webinar, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you about the best practices. I'm going to show you about the 5 email plan that I think will fit almost all businesses and all welcome series. And then I'm going to invite you and tell you that I have a 5-week hands-on group coaching where we are going to get it done together. We will write your awesome, mighty welcome emails. If you need help and accountability doing that, it's going to start in late October. So some of the tips that we've talked about today on evergreen valuable things to send to your emails may reappear during the webinar as things that maybe could or should be in your mighty welcome series that nurtures and converts. So make sure that if you want that in there, you get to the page and you register. So I know to send you the Zoom link that you get on the free webinar. I want you to share it with anybody that you know that needs help writing or improving that really important first email series. And then meanwhile, I'm hoping that you've gotten enough tips that you no longer feel brain freeze, that you will have in your toolkit a slew, a mighty list of topics, of questions, of educational tips, of announcements, of reviews and myths and mistakes that you can share to your list that helps you remain consistent. And each of those types of emails can also work in natural offers to take a next step with you, a course, an affiliate product, a free call with you. And I'll also let you know this is the first tease that I'm making to anybody outside of some private groups. But coming up in the first quarter of 2022, I am going to run an email writing challenge. If you need more help and accountability to write emails and to build a habit of writing and sending emails consistently, you're going to want to be with me for that as well. So, Fran, I appreciate that you have given great topics to grow around. You are very, very welcome. Pick one. Pick one. Pick anything today, whether it's an ABC, it's a 5x5, it's a myth. Pick something, set the timer for 30 minutes, and brainstorm. Right. Let it be imperfect, come back to it, but you're going to have something that you can send and share to your email list this coming week. No more brain freeze. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, the next video in our series on email tips is going to be email tips with content creation guru, coach, creator, Melissa Brown of She's Got Content. And we're going to be talking more ways to easily create content that flows and fits us naturally and goes out in our emails. So I'm really excited to be talking with Melissa at 3:30 p.m. in the very next video. So, bye, mighty pals. Go write some mighty easy emails.